Zoo wee mama, how's it going, everybody? I'm here once again with the one, the only Glazer of Snap Judgments, and we are going to be ranking every single Series 4 and Series 5 card in Marvel Snap to help you decide which cards you're going to spend your very precious resources on obtaining. How are you doing today, Glazer?
I'm great. I opened my day. I just woke up, had lunch and breakfast, lunch, whatever, and got a Zooey Mama first thing in the morning. Let's do this.
Nice. So we've got S tier through F tier. And again, I'm very fortunate to have Glazer here. He's so good at keeping up with the meta and all the new best competitive decks. And we've had a lot of things changing. Okay, we get a lot of OTAs shaking things up, new cards shaking things up. And here we are with the new season shaking some more things up. So we'll go ahead and get started. We will rank all the Series 4 cards first, and then we'll go to the Series 5 cards. So let's go ahead and get started with Dawkin. Is Dawkin C tier, F tier? Where do we have him?
I mean, how is Dakin not an F? When's the last time you saw Dakin in an
Yeah, exactly. He's just bad. He just needs more power, right? He just needs a little buff.
make him a 5. Like everything good is a 3-5. Make him a 3-5. I would play him at a 3-5 and at least the Surfer discard.
Yeah, I think it would have some potential, and he is kind of fun. Like if you get a combo going.
Yeah,
So I would
but
like that.
but working for a 3-8 and then like a
Right?
ton of work for a 3-16. It's like I have card like I could
Just play
play.
Sage or something.
Well, I could play Squirrel Girl and then play Marvel Boy.
Yeah,
And I just got 14 power. Like, and I didn't have to do anything but put cards on board.
yeah. Over time,
Like
he
that.
just gets more and more power crept with every new card, basically.
Yep. Yep. Real rough.
And then we have Darkhawk, who is seeing an absolute ton of play during the Arishem heavy meta. Still seems like a good card. Where do we have Darkhawk right now?
How is Darkhawk not an S? I don't think
Yeah.
there's a better Series 4 card.
Yeah, and I think he always rotates back in. He finds a way to rotate back in the meta. He'll go kind of in waves, but he's always a great choice. I agree with that. I do think Darkhawk is a must-have, especially he's only 3,000 tokens. That's pretty good value there. What about Ghost Spider? I've actually been liking Ghost Spider recently. She's been kind of more flexible utility card. Is she B tier? What do you think?
I think she's somewhere between B and A at this point. She's in what I'd consider the best deck in the game, the Clog deck that runs Ajax and Dagger with Ghost Spider and Iron Fist, and you need Ghost Spider for that. Phoenix
Yes.
Force just came in near the top of a tournament.
Mm.
Move decks are only getting better and better. Like, because of the Move 7 thing, I actually see move decks on the top of Infinite
Oh,
Ladder
for the
sometimes.
Alliance bounties?
Yeah. Like, I think like she's probably a B plus, but she's inching on A. It wouldn't shock me if she was an A.
Yeah, I agree. I'll put her in B for now, but I've been really impressed by Ghost Spider in like this past month, and that Clog deck you mentioned I've been playing. That thing's killer. It's awesome.
It's so
So
strong.
it's nice that she's working not just in like a standard move only package. She's
Ooh,
finding some other homes.
are we ranking Kate?
We are
No, no
not
Kate
doing
Bishop.
Kate because she has the season pass card, so she's not
Okay.
available Series 5. But we do have Marvel Boy, so we do have a new season card in here. All right, then we've got Hitmonkey, now a 3 cost, 3 powered card. Got a slight little buff. I really haven't seen him see any real play since that little buff. What do you think of him? He's kind of hard to rank for me.
I think he's a B. The meta is very cloggy thanks to Kate Bishop. If that stops, we can revisit here. But between Sandman and Clog, basically saying I'm going to play a million cards on my last
Yeah,
turn is very dangerous. It's still good, right? Like you can always just run and not lose a bunch of extra cubes, which
yeah.
is totally valuable. But I can't see him above B.
Okay, I like that. Yeah, I was thinking maybe kind of B or C, but just haven't seen him too much. And then we've got Jean Grey. Hasn't seen too much play. Is she C tier?
She's an F. She doesn't exist.
I think she's
Like
back
she's
to
a
F.
fun. She's fundamentally not. Well, she has that deck that exists, but
Like the
like, when's the last time
Spectrum
you saw it? Yeah,
ongoing. Yeah, maybe
yeah.
when Speed
Spectrum
comes out, who
Cosmo.
knows?
Sure, maybe speed pushes her up, but until speed, so and how do you do that, right? Because now you're going gene into speed, and you're just giving up power. Although you're only giving up one. I don't actually want to think this one through too much.
Yeah, but as
Yeah,
of
gene.
now, you think she's F tier in terms of like meta relevance and being competitive. All right, I like that argument. I think actually I saw one Gene yesterday or 2 days ago. I was very surprised. I haven't
Did
seen it in
you
a while.
did you win?
I think I did, yeah. But
See,
but
that's the problem
it
right
is
there.
good in some metas against some decks. It's annoying, but if you're
Uh-huh.
playing smaller stuff, like you don't really care because you can play multiple cards easily. And then we've got Gladiator, still 3/8, has fallen off a bit as kind of the go-to general, just good power 3 cost card. There's so many good 3 cost cards that have been coming out. Where's Gladiator now? He's still good, but he's just feels a bit more replaceable.
Still a B, I think.
And he's good in
Like
mill.
he's
He is
just
needed if you decide to
he's
play mill.
100% needed for me. But
Yeah.
he's just a good card, right? Like he fits in. He's obviously required for mill, and outside of that, he still goes in stuff. Like he's
Hmm.
fine in surfer. He's fine in deck. I'm like, good enough. Good
Yeah.
in stuff is B, right?
And then we have Mobius, another 3 cost, but tech card, trying to counter more kind of certain metas. Is Mobius B? Is Mobius C? I really haven't seen Mobius in a while, actually. And
I
now
haven't seen
Loki's changed.
Mobius
It's a bit different.
because of all the power creep, right? Because they've released so many good threes.
Yeah.
But Mobius is still a B, right? Like, there's very few things as annoying as just seeing a Mobius hit the board on turn 3 and you being like, there
Yeah.
goes that Mockingbird and Sasquatch I had in my
Right.
deck.
Or Ravana,
There goes
Sarah, or
that death.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's still just good enough to be a B.
Then we got Legion. Saw an uptick of play with Arishem because you could just fit more big stuff in your decks. Um, is Legion still just a B?
I mean, I think Legion's like almost the definitive B. If we had like a middle of the B, like
Yeah.
Legion's a B. He goes in stuff. Occasionally he goes in stuff. He's really good in the. Actually, doesn't he have to be a C? Because he's if it suits you.
He is very replaceable.
Like,
Even in the decks he goes in, you could just run like
yeah,
Claw or some other 5 cost that's just like good.
Vision. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, fine. He's a C. I hate him being a C. Like, he's a very good C.
And then we have Kitty Pride, who just continues to be able to trigger so many cards, obviously using their buff up Angela, even after Angela's nerf, buffing up Thena when needed, sliding in that extra card, maybe provide some value soon if you need to fill out a curve for like Wiccan or Speed or something.
Mhm.
Is Kitty a must have S tier? Is she A tier solid buy? Where do we have
I
her?
think Kitty has to be an S. If you want to play Bounce, if you want to play Thena, seemingly perhaps if you want to play a lot of the decks that are running Wiccan or Speed. If
Yeah.
you are running Kate Bishop, you very often want a Kitty Pride. Like, just a lot of decks really, really enjoy Kitty. There's a
Yeah.
lot of clog in the meta, and Kitty does an amazing job at
That's a
blocking
good point.
that. Hope Summers is still a card. I still see a bit of Elsa Bloodstone.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it's just I've seen more Bishop than I have in ages. Like, Kitty's good with all of them.
That's especially the Thena. Yeah, basically every deck with Thena, like you
Mhm.
have Kitty. It's so good there. And then we've got not nearly as strong of a card, but pretty interesting card. We have Havoc. Havoc has to be C or F, right?
I mean, C. It's a C. It's not an F. It's still okay. It's still occasionally like when it's played in decks by top players, they end up working.
Yeah,
And like every deck, contrary to popular belief, every deck played by top players does not. But when top players decide to play Havoc in a deck, usually a bounce deck, sometimes a Ravonna shell, it ends up
yeah,
being a really good and powerful card that the deck sort of ends up building.
yeah. I like every now and then I'll put him in a deck, maybe kind of like the Slayer Blade type style deck,
Mm-hmm.
just because he's fun and interesting. I love the card design.
Look, when he's a 1/8, you're not sad,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And then we've got Null, the Destroy Powerhouse. Is he just 4 decks you like because he's basically just for Destroy?
Yeah, I mean, he's got to be a B, right?
Yeah,
Destroy isn't meta, but he's the 4 decks you like.
yeah, exactly. All right, and then we've got our friend Magic Mike here. I really never see him played. He had that little short window where he saw some play when he got the buff and the ability change, and then they took away that one power, and I have not seen him since. I think I've seen him once or twice.
He's got to be F, right?
Yeah, I think he needs a buff. He needs
He needs his
something.
power back. Like
Give him the
the
1/1. Yeah.
apocalypse and Mikey changes were so stupid. It was like, ooh, discard might be meta in a month. Let's get rid of him now. Like, what?
Yeah, it was so short lived. It was crazy how short
Mhm.
lived his buff was. Then we have Hercules as a 3/4, another move card, which move does seem to be on the come up a bit, especially, give it a couple months. We have a move season. Where's Hercules right now?
Right now, he's an F.
Yeah. It is Phoenix
Like,
Force running him right now, the Phoenix Force decks?
no, neither is the basic move deck. He's just
Mm.
not in deck. He doesn't exist in decks again. Next month I think he jumps up to like a B. Like he's just not in the decks that he would be running.
Yeah, if Phoenix Force isn't running him, then we've got Lady Deathstrike, pretty niche kind of utility card, kind of expensive, but definitely unexpected. Is she a C tier?
I think she's C. She's just really surprisingly solid a lot of the time,
Yeah,
especially with
she
Clog
can find
everywhere,
good
right?
value.
Yeah, yeah. Like they're like, here's a goblin and a widow's kiss, and you're like, cool. So Lady Deathstrike, thank you for the free death. Have a
Yeah,
great day.
yeah, exactly. And
Right?
she
Like,
can kill
and I
Marvel
destroyed
Boy.
your. Yeah, yeah. She can kill a lot of stuff. She's good. She can kill. I've used her a lot to kill Mobiuses, which is hilarious against Pixie Mobius. Oh God, we got
Oh,
to fight about. We got to fight about Pixie again, don't
that's true. We're gonna have her coming up. All right, but then we have Man Thing. One of those cards, kind of like Jean Grey, where it seems to have kind of disappeared a bit. You can obviously just play it in more toxic Sarah or toxic Spectrum deck with ongoing, but he seems pretty weak. I gotta think he's C or F tier. What are your thoughts?
I'm leaning F.
Yeah, I agree. He just seems weak. I've tried him. I like that style of deck. I like kind of toxic stuff, but man, paying four for that, it just kind of hurts.
I knew you were toxic.
Yeah, I'm super toxic. Yeah. And then we've got Modoc. Just discard. Is he B tier or is he actually lower? If we're
He's
looking at
got.
discard as not always having Modoc.
I think Modoc sort of. Sorry, discard sort of exists as an archetype again with the Apocalypse buff.
Yeah,
So I
that's a
think
good
he's
point.
B. The versions of that run collector are doing real well. Like the collector
Mm.
name of the card
Collector
is now gone.
Swarm.
Yes, but the 610 ship.
Oh, Helicarrier.
Uh,
Helicarrier.
Thank you. I'm like Quinjet. No, not Quinjet. Quinjet. No, not Quinjet. Thank you. Yeah, the Helicarrier versions actually have decent stuff right now, and they obviously require.
Yes, yeah, that's a good point. We've got Nimrod, set to just destroy, and more specifically, kind of a Shuri Nimrod destroy. Very niche, but not a bad card by any means. I lose to it every now and then. If I don't have an
Mm-hmm.
answer, I just cannot keep up with that 12 power, and I know turn 6 are laying down like Carnage and Venom, and I basically just lost.
Yep.
So, is Nimrod just a solid B tier, do we think?
I think it's C. It's only in Phoenix Force. Like the straight up
That's
destroy
true.
exist, and it's a backup plan for most Phoenix Force. I think that's a C. I don't think Phoenix Force. Like I think Phoenix Force is probably a B, but Nimrod is like the backup. Phoenix Force is probably.
Right, because he's like a niche within a niche deck. He's like a little sub niche.
Yeah.
It's just not really needed. But if you like that style of deck, then you can definitely get some wins. Then we've got Nebula. I really haven't seen her too much, but we do have a pretty zoo heavy, Kitty Pride heavy meta right now. So she kind of loses some value whenever Kitty Pride is around. But she's
Yep.
still definitely a decent one drop. She's kind of hard to rank for me. Is she A? Is she B? Where do we have Nebula?
I think she's B right now. She's not meta, but she's still good.
Right. I like that.
Like she's a step above like Legion and right, like just in terms of sheer power.
Yeah. She's a solid
One drop,
card. She just doesn't get huge value right now.
right? And just it's always worth reminding anyone who's newer and doesn't remember the original Nebula discourse. A lot of her power isn't in that she grows; it's that she controls where your opponent plays, so you can decide what to do.
And then we have Phoenix Force, as we talked a bit about with Nimrod and move stuff. Phoenix Force took kind of a big hit when a second dinner changed the order of operations for move and made it happen at the start. Is Phoenix
So
Force now recovered a bit? Is it okay
I,
still?
I think it's a B. Basically, it went back to the Nimrod build that doesn't care about all the tricks.
I definitely like Phoenix Force in the B tier here.
Yeah.
All right, then we've got Ravana Renslayer. Has been a bit of a meta menace recently. Did take a slight nerf, now at 2 power. Former Zabu stats. Is Ravana S tier still? Is she A tier? She's got to be up there somewhere.
I think I'm down to A. She's just not in the best decks anymore. She's still very good,
Uh huh.
but like not insane anymore.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, especially with Angela also going to 3 power. It means she didn't get that to. So I've seen a good amount of Athena decks that don't run her.
Yeah, and like the Iron Man package has sort of fallen by the wayside right now. So like she's still very good, but she's not.
Got Celine here. Is Celine automatic F tier?
She's bordering on C. I think she's still F, but like she's in a couple decks where she's
Oh,
not bad.
okay. You're coming around to Celine, huh?
No, goblins are just the most meta they have lived.
Yeah.
The Viper change really helps.
The
The
Viper change
Viper
was
change
good.
really helps.
The Viper change
Is
was
a lot.
really good. Then we've got Silk, just 2 cost, 5 power card that's flinging around the board. Pretty replaceable. Nothing crazy here. Still
My
5
highest win
power.
rate card last season.
Yeah, and I'll play Silk every now and then just because I like tempo style decks, so I kind of like the
Mm-hmm.
cheap cards that just have like a flat 5 power.
Yeah,
Is Silk a C tier then, if it
it's a
suits
C.
you?
It's a C.
Then we've got Snowguard, who I have not seen once since the Loki change. Um, I
Uh,
I don't think I've seen it at all.
I
Have you seen
have.
Snowguard?
There are a couple Loki decks that are now running collector because Snowguard, Kate Bishop, and Agent Coulson. Like
Right, Power of the Collector.
any of one of those makes collector a 2/4. And most games that you have all those cards, you're going to be able to make collector a 2/6, 2/7, 2/8, which is usually worth running.
Yeah,
I think she's still a C, but she's lower C. Like she's not like she used to be like a B,
yeah,
right? And now she's
yeah. Agreed. She's no longer necessarily needed. Then we got Spider Ham. Kind of another 1 cost that you just play to annoy your opponents. Can be played in a bit of bounce, some other things. Also, kind of replaceable. Is he C tier too, or you think he's a B tier?
he's pushing on B largely because the downside was he's really bad into Mobius,
Yes.
and Mobius is gone, so that's gone. And he's really good if you're running Shadow King. There's quite a lot of decks that are running both he and Shadow King.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's like knocking on the door of B. I think he would be like the bottom.
I like
Like
it.
he's just decent right now. Like
He's so
he goes
annoying to
like
go up against. He's the
yeah.
worst when your opponent. You're always pissed. He's
Oh,
only 1 power, but you're usually pissed.
well, you're like all right, Surfer, and you're like
And then we have Zabooty, the little 2 cost cat that we're all waiting to get whatever change he's gonna get. Second Tenor has alluded to him at some point getting a bit of his former power back in whatever form that may be. I know you have some very good theories about what that could be, but for right now, is Zabu still F tier?
I think he's C. Like okay, Wiccan comes out within a day of this video's release.
That's true. And I think Wiccan or Psylocke, you're trying to do kind of Mr. Negative type stuff, right? Where you want to
Right.
Zabu or Psylocke them out. So,
So I think it's a C.
all right. And then we have Living Tribunal. Living Tribunal is actually a hard card to rank for me. Sometimes I see
Me
him
too.
a decent amount. Sometimes I never see him. He sees play obviously in full ongoing, in like hella discard stuff. And he's sometimes just hard to face. Like if you don't have an answer, you might just lose. If you do have an answer, it might be an easy win. He's tough. Where is the Living Tribunal right now?
So he had completely disappeared, and then KX4N put him in a Sandman Patriot list, where you basically do his combo or you do Sandman Ultron,
Mm,
whichever one you happen to see, and
right.
that brought him back for a while. I think he's probably a B. Um, he's knocking on the door of A. But like, is he remotely meta? It's hard to say. Yes, right.
Right. We are at the Series 5 cards. We'll go ahead, kick it off with Hydra Bob here. Where's Hydra Bob? Nice little 1/5. I've actually been enjoying him a lot. Hydra Bob has been very good for me. But where do you think he is in the meta overall?
It's got to be a B, right? Like, I
Yeah.
don't think he's up to an A, but he's got to be a B, and he's not far from A.
Right. Yeah, I was
He's
thinking
better
like
than
B or
most
A
of our
tier,
dudes.
but I know not everybody's playing him, but he feels good.
I mean, not everyone's playing because not everyone has him, right?
Right. A lot
Like
of
he
people
was
skipped
off
him.
with it 3 hours left in the shop.
Yeah.
I just get a free card. But like he's really good in Zoo. He's really good in Mini. I don't know. I can't say he's better than Ghost Spider, right?
That's a
Like
good
if
point.
Ghost Spider's B, he has to.
Right, I like that. Then we've got High Evolutionary, now 6 power, has fallen off in the meta for sure. Every now and then a deck or two pops up. Still a great card though for your collection, especially for newer players to Series 3, because he just gives you like a whole archetype. But where do you have High Evo? Is he just A tier?
I think he's B. I think like if you're brand new, you just buy Arisham.
That's a good point. Yeah, Airship now is the go-to. Buy that one Series 5 card to be able to play a bunch
Yeah.
of stuff.
So like if he's not that And like maybe you buy him second, but like at that point, you buy Loki's to go in the Irish.
Right.
So I don't know. I think he's B. Like he had a spot that kept him high, and that spot's not there now. He's just a specific deck.
Yeah, I think it's a really good argument. I think Airsham is doing his job better. And then we've got Galactus. Galactus is so tough for me. I'm like, is it C tier if it suits you? But even then, in clog decks, I usually don't see Galactus clog now. Is he still C? Do we think he's worse? Where do you have Galactus?
He's got to be an F, right?
Even in clog decks, I do not see him. Like usually, you're just doing full clog, or if you have White Widow stuff, which kills Galactus synergy. Like, I couldn't tell you the last time I saw Galactus. Yeah, Viper too.
And like everything has 5 power, right? Like if my 1-drop has 5 power,
right, your Hydra Bomb is gonna stop the Galactus trigger.
Like it feels like that shouldn't happen, but
yeah, no, I agree. I think F tier is actually a fair spot for him. And then we've got Gwenpool, former season pass card. Gwenpool's decent. I don't see her a ton. I don't play her a ton, but I play her a little bit. I think it's maybe kind of a preference thing, but she does seem good. Is she A tier, B tier? What are your thoughts?
I think she's A. I think the best Surfer decks in Marvel Snap, bar none. And I think that there's enough things like the mini move deck that's one of the better decks that really need her. So I think she's an A tier card. I don't think she's S, but I think she's A. She's like a really, really, really like solidly powered season pass card.
I agree. And then sometimes it's hard if your opponent plays Gwenpool. You on turn 6, you're like, how much power do I play around? Like, do they have a Shaw in hand, or I have to count 2 extra power? Like, where's the power going? It's actually really tough in terms of trying to stay in a battle, and maybe Gwenpool gets extra cubes because of that too. And then we got Grandmaster now in his 2/2 state. Is he C tier? I see him a little bit every now and then. No, not crazy amounts. Where do we have Grandmaster?
I like him a lot, but he's a C.
Yeah.
He's just not. Even when he's good, he's not required, right? Like.
Yeah. Then we've got another former season pass card in Scar, who I'll see every now and then, but not a ton. Obviously, just like big dumb idiots, and maybe one other deck I'm not thinking of. Sometimes like Lockjaw stuff, but where is Scar? He's hard to rank.
Okay, and Nomura stuff too. Like there's the occasional Nomura deck that just says I can make 2 of my 5s 10 and then get a 2-cost Scar.
Cheap out Scar, yeah.
He's between a B and a C. I've had enough success with him that I want to B, but I don't think he's popular enough to break into B.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think based on how kind of niche he is, I kind of like C tier for Scar.
Yeah, I think
I just don't see him enough. And then a card very soon in Spotlights with Speed Week is Iron Lad. Where do we have Iron Lad? Definitely not a needed card too much, but we'll see play in like Patriot decks or Iron Patriot. Mm-hmm. Where do we have him? Is he B tier?
I think it's a B tier card. I think Iron Lad is like the fundamental potential tier. Like been in everything from Phoenix Force decks to Tribunal decks to Patriot decks, like to Darkhawk decks. Like
then we have Hope Summers, pretty strong. Is Hope A tier?
I think A tier. Yeah, I think that's very solid A tier. Hope is great in a lot of decks, but like not top of the meta, not broken.
Yeah, she doesn't feel crazy broken, but it's nice. You get the power, you get the energy, and you can really ramp up if your draws go well. All right, then we've got another former season pass card in Gilgamesh. So many season pass cards over time. Yeah. It's crazy how the months go by, and they're all still Series 5. Gilgamesh.
Hey, they put down Nebula.
They did. They did
and Phoenix Force.
Okay, you got me.
And Ghost Spider. Come on, they're totally just doing the most powerful. All right, Gilgamesh is a B. It's clearly a 1 deck.
Yeah.
And you don't need it for that one.
Right. He is a bit replaceable, but he does add a lot of power there. Then we've got X23. Having Null in B tier is X23 automatic B tier as well, just for Destroy, but basically needed in Destroy.
Yep, those 2 are married in my.
I like that logic. But then we've got White Widow. Recently saw a nerf. Now just gives the Widow's Kiss that has temporarily -3 power instead of -4 power. But White Widow is still beyond annoying. By the end of the game, oftentimes, the Widow's Kiss had 0 power because they fill the lane. So White Widow really does the same job in most scenarios. Is White Widow S tier, A tier?
Is S isn't crazy, right? Like, it's got to be S.
I think it's so flexible that even if you're not playing a clog deck, you can run White Widow. And there's some locations that only clog decks used to get advantage out of. But
Mm-hmm.
you having White Widow, you're just like, oh, throne room or whatever. You're just like, I
Yep.
win, you know.
Not Thorn, Space Thorn, Space Thorn.
Space throne, yeah, I win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the 4 cards in a location thing. You're just like, ooh, thank you.
Yeah, Bar Sinister or whatever. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I agree. I think White Widow's S tier. She's good, even after the nerf. I think the nerf often doesn't matter. So then we've got Super Giant. Is Super Giant C tier, F tier? I personally have her F tier. I know some
It's an
people
F tier.
stick by
I
her,
like the
but
card a lot. Look, I like the card a lot, but like, there's just decks don't exist.
yeah, she just doesn't see play.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty straightforward. Then we've got Thanos as a former meta tyrant, time and time and time again, has not really come back up since his most recent big changes, even with the lockjaw buff. Where is Thanos now?
Do we give it the C out of respect or the F?
I don't think he's F tier.
Give him a C.
I think
Because he's not a
C.
B.
Yeah, he's a
Like
tough.
his deck,
He's a
like
tough sell.
not only does his deck barely exist, it requires 8 Series 5.
It does. Yeah. Then we've got Jeff, automatic S tier.
Yeah, I mean, one of the 2 or 3 best cards in the game.
Yeah, super flexible, never getting nerfed. Then we've got Loki. Oh my god. So Loki continues to be a bit of a menace, bit of a really strong card. I'm personally worried he's just going to get nerfed again because I think Second Dinner is finally committed to not having him be one of the best cards in the game. But when we're making this video, do we say Loki is S tier still?
I think so.
Especially if you're a newer player, I will say, even if, let's say he gets nerfed again, let's say they take away his initial draw or whatever. If you are a newer player, you still play Loki, you now have access to cards that you don't own, right? It's not as much as before, but it's still good for newer players because you don't need a bunch of Series 5 cards to go along with him.
It's a snap condition in Arishem. It's great. It's a great card. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't have any... Like, it's so much better than I thought it would be when it was first nerfed, too. I did not expect it to be great. But,
yeah,
you know,
the initial draw.
Go Glenn Jones.
Yeah. All right, then we've got Ajax, a card. Most people weren't too high on it before it came out, myself included. And right when it came out, it was unclear. But now we've seen some real shells develop, some decks really utilizing him. I've been playing him a little bit.
I told you.
He's good. It took some time. You're right on this. It took him a little bit of time, but we got some good stuff with him. Is Ajax A tier? What do we think?
Yeah, I think he's A tier. He's the best stat stick in the game.
Yeah, he's good. He's big.
Yeah, he's just upset. Like, so what Hazmat does is says, if we've both played around in equal cards, Hazmat says the power is exactly what it was when it started, right?
Yeah.
And then I just got a plus 20.
Yeah, and then you just don't run Luke Cage, so you're getting Ajax all the power instead of just your opponent's power. And then we have Baron Zemo, really only sees play in mill decks, which right now aren't really existent, and Arishem is a big part of that as well. Is Baron Zemo B tier, though, if he's needed for mill?
I still think it's B.
Yeah.
It's not, and the deck is still good. You can just, like, you can still compete against Arishem just because you're playing good cards.
Yes.
Right? Like, if you're running Shang and stuff. So, like, it's not terrible into its worst matchup, and it's just good It's a good deck. Like, not meta, but it's good.
I like that. And then we've got Arishem, automatic S tier, no debate.
Yeah, we don't have to actually discuss that one, right? That's the, like, if you're new and you can buy one card.
That's the new best card. If you're a new player, you want to play every card in the game, just buy Arishem.
Yeah, even the ones you don't want, except Kang.
He can't give Kang?
I believe Arishem cannot give Kang.
Oh, that's even better. Wow.
Yeah, right.
That is funny. All right, then we have Black Knight. So really just sees playing Black Knight discard, who I don't really see too much. Is Black Knight C tier now?
Gotta be C. Yeah, doesn't exist. Non-existent freaking card.
Then we have Blob. Was seeing a lot of play in Arishem, got nerfed. You could still see play in Arishem, but not as needed for him. And really didn't see play anywhere else. Where is Blob now? He like goes up and down so often on the tier list. It's crazy. Where's Blob now? He seems kind of bad.
He's got 2 B's in his name. Let's keep him. You can run him in Arishem, right? Like, you're not sad to run him in Arishem.
Right.
I think he's B.
I like it. I like the the B's in his name logic too. Copycat would be a C, but I think we're gonna want to
Because
put
it's a
Copycat
rifle.
a bit higher. Is Copycat A tier?
I think it's A tier. I think like a definitive A tier card.
Yes.
I'm very certain that this is as good as Nocturne. I've heard occasional people make noises like it is better than Nocturne. I
Uh
don't
huh.
believe so. I think I think that you're just comparing. I think Nocturne, the
Yeah.
single best card in Marvel Snap right now. So I don't think that's like a terrible insult.
Yeah, I agree. I think she's good, and you have the whole Nocturne, Copycat, or Red Guardian. That depending on your preference, depending on the meta, one
Mm-hmm.
of those three might find more value than the other on average. But if you're just putting one in and you're not really accounting for the meta, or you're not trying to play against something specific, you're probably going with Nocturne. Nocturne is probably the first choice there. And then
Mm-hmm.
if you want something else, then you say, okay, do I want Copycat or Red Guardian? Do I think they can find more value? So I think Nocturne's still the go-to. I agree with that.
So I think also one more thing. Woody ended up cutting Copycat from his Surfer in favor of Red Guardian. So that
Mm.
also helps knock Nocturne down a little too. If the best Surfer player is saying, "I'm not running this in my Surfer," instead I'm running Red Guardian, that's probably the best tier.
We have Eliath. Is Eliath B tier? Eliath's kind of hard to rank for
I
me.
think it's between B and A. I'm leaning A because it's so important in Irish, but like, it's also. I mean,
It's really
it's
just
one of the.
there at Airsham, but it could be replaced. Like if you didn't have Eliath in Airsham, you'd be okay.
Yeah, but you'd be okay with Blob. I'm fine. B. Yeah, B is fine.
All right, then we've got Corvus Glaive. Discard really has fallen off, especially like the Hella versions with Corvus, but he's
Mm.
still a good card, I'm sure. So where's Corvus right now?
See, that's like you just argued if it suits you,
Eh,
right? Like that's the words you said in different words.
that's a good point. And then we got Call Obsidian, same kind of thing. I do
Yeah,
play him a little bit, but I don't see him. But he seems like a C tier.
he's occasionally in Zoo an idiot, like
Yeah.
whatever. See, he's gonna go up at some point.
Yes.
If we get like a good Zabu, right? I would not be shocked to see Cull Obsidian become the fourth.
Yeah. Well, he first came out in Zabu. Not only is Thanos good, but Zabu was still in his previous form, right? So he was
Mm-hmm.
coming out for
And
like three.
Darkhawk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Then we have Elsa Bloodstone sees a little bit of play alongside Kitty Pride packages, like we alluded to earlier. Definitely not on the same level as Hope Summers or Athena or anything like that. Is Elsa B tier, C tier?
It's C. It's B in power level.
I like that. It can be good, but you just don't see it much. Just not super popular
So,
or needed. All right, then we've got Red Hulk, big boy, strong six cost card. Is he S tier, still being the most like flexible six cost, or do we have him in A?
I think he's A. I just don't think you run. He's still very good when he has run, not as omnipresent.
Right, I like that. And then
All
we've
right,
got
ready?
Werewolf by Night. I'll let you rank this one because you're a bounce
So
player. You play a lot of
it's
Werewolf. Where is he?
it's an A tier card.
Woo!
If you're a bounce player and you're struggling with Clog, so just if you see your opponents playing Clog, just never ever beast until turn 5. It doesn't matter what else you do, just hold your beast until turn 5, and you're just gonna start winning the matchup. Because like at that point, you just suddenly have this free lane, and that like
Right.
that's the lane that they were clogging the shit out of. The werewolf is there. You only need to really move it one other time, usually by the end of the game, and then you have another lane winner, like Ajax or whether that be Shadow King at that point or else, and you
Uh-huh.
win. Werewolf's also really, really good with new Loki, where you werewolf on 3 and then you key on 4, and you have all this cheap stuff to further bounce your werewolf. It's really
I like that. I like this. So you as a bounce player, you think Werewolf belongs in A tier right now?
yeah. I think werewolf is incredible.
Yeah, and you got the 2 power. You got the 1 power
Mm-hmm.
buffs nose too, so that feels
It
good.
really does matter. Yeah,
Yeah.
it really does.
And then we've got Cannonball. Has it seen a fall from grace for sure?
Oh yeah.
Nowhere to be found. He got hit with basically 3 nerfs at the same time around when Blob lost his ongoing, when Professor X got changed, and when they just took off 1 power just to kick him while he's down. Where is 5/7
Wait,
Cannonball?
but then they nerfed Doctor Octopus.
That's true. They did nerf
No,
Dr.
a
Octopus.
fourth nerd. So he's a C. He's a C.
All right, then we've got Thena. Big powerhouse. Is Thena A tier?
S.
You think she's S?
Yeah, I think she's S.
She's
She's like she's in like 18 different good stuff shells right now.
That's true. It's not just
Like
one
she's
deck.
the good stuff shell.
She's
The Move
fairly
deck, the
flexible.
Darkhawk deck,
Yeah.
the Mockingbird deck, the Loki deck. Like she's in. Part of that's like, hey, I would have Kate Bishop in S tier, but like, and part of
Right.
that is Thien and Kate Bishop are an amazing pairing. But like, I think she's S no matter.
All right, I like the argument for her not just her strength but her flexibility. Then we have Valentina. Is Valentina a C tier if it suits you? I mean, you could just play
Yep,
Cable, right?
yep, C tier if it suits you. It's in some really good Irisham shells.
Then we've got Makari. I love Makari. I get good
She's
use
still
out of her.
good.
And, she fits a variety of packages. I like playing a lot of like tempo lockdown stuff with Storm, and so me just getting a free 4 power feels good. But you can play her in a bit of Surfer stuff. There's some other things I always see her in. Is she A tier?
No, she's B though.
You think she's B?
She can't be A. She's McCarthy. But like, I think she's B. Like, there's no real great deck that she's required, but
She
she's good
is
in
a
decks you
bit
like.
replaceable, yeah.
Yeah, she's 4 decks you like. Way higher than I would have thought she would be. I mean,
Yeah.
look, no one thought Makari was going to be there.
Yeah, well, she originally did him as a 3/3 too, and I think the
Yes,
one extra
before
power
really
helped a lot. But okay, I like the B tier argument. She's a bit replaceable. She's not necessarily on the same level as like our other 3 cost powerhouses like Copycat and Nocturne. I'll let you do the ranking for Pixie because we've talked about this. I'm not a Pixie player. I would have Pixie C tier, but I know Pixie
It's
is
a
actually a
B
decent
tier
card.
card. It's a B tier card. I don't play Pixie deck either, for the record, but I pay enough attention to the meta to know that Pixie is real. Pixie is in real
Yes.
and good decks.
That's true with the snapping too. If your opponent plays Pixie and they snap, you're a bit worried.
Yeah. Did they just get a 0 power Magneto?
Yeah. All right. What about Black Swan? Another former season pass card. Is Black Swan F still, or do you think Black Swan actually has some value, especially with like the Marvel Boy kind of meta we're coming up to?
I think Black Swan is B.
Really, B.
A lot of bounce decks are running Black Swan right now, and she's not really replaceable in those decks. The ones that run her,
But you think it belongs in B tier for sure.
I honestly think it belongs. I think it's
All right.
just good. It's a 3/5, right? Like,
It is a
it's
3/5.
always worth remembering. Like, if it was a 3, right? Like, it's how fickle this list is. A 3/4, I think, is a C tier. But like, I think that extra power often matters.
Yeah, I would agree. Then we have Blink, another season pass card. Has her moments, was kind of stronger before, fell off a little bit, but still a decent card. Is Blink B tier?
Yeah, it gotta be, right?
B for
Our
Blink.
A and S tier feels smaller than usual.
Yeah, I mean we got some more cards coming up though.
That's true.
Thing. That's
We definitely have some more cards coming up.
It's because the alphabetical order got messed up. That's why it feels
Okay.
small. All right, then we have Miss Marvel, who I rarely ever see and is definitely bad against Clog. Is Miss Marvel actually C tier, do we think, or is she still B tier?
I can't put her lower than B. She's a 4.
She is good
4.
power. Yeah, 414.
It's just, I can't put 4. Like, I think she's underplayed, but like 414 is stupid.
Yeah, you could still play her. She's just not seeing too much play right now. Okay, then we've got Annihilus, Clog lovers, fan favorites. Where do we have Annihilus right now, though?
Is C crazy?
I think C's crazy. I would argue for B tier.
B? Okay.
Because, yeah, there are some
It's just,
Clog
I don't
shells that aren't
ever
running
see
him, but
there are all Clog shells that aren't. He's just not in Clog right.
you don't see him ever. I see still a bit of just people playing Sentry and then Annihilus or Cersei follow up.
I so rarely see that. I get the Cersei follow up.
Yeah.
I don't almost ever.
Well, usually I'm trying to clog the right lane, so they play Cersei because they know I won't
That's
let them
fair.
send it over.
All right, well, give it a B. It's fine.
But he's definitely fallen off. I agree with you on that
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, I mean, look, he was S.
Yeah. Then we've got Beta Ray Bill. Is that
I mean, with
C tier?
that many Bs, it's got to be B. No, it's a B. It's a real
You
deck
think it's B still?
that you need him for. Yeah, you need him if you're going to play the Thor's deck, and the Thor's deck is. It's not great, but it's good. That's where, like, the B tier for decks you like is decks you like.
That's
Like,
true. That
They're
can
decks that
compete
can
with.
compete, yeah, but aren't toppable. Like
Yeah.
Phoenix Force, like the Hitmonkey Bounce.
All right, we've talked about Nocturne already. We're moving her straight up to the S tier.
Yep. I
As one
genuinely think she's the best card in the game.
One of the current best cards in the game, and she's kind of been there. She's just good and flexible.
Yeah.
Then we've got Sebastian Shaw. Really just stuck to Surfer. Is he B tier because of that?
Yeah, he's B tier.
What about Proxima Midnight? Another one tied to discard, but how good is she? Do we have her B tier or C tier alongside Corvus
Sh-
Glaive?
She's B because she's starting to show up in some mid range.
Yeah, she's in some mid-range shells that don't have Corvus, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Then we've got War Machine, another card that saw a recent buff to 7 power, and we've traditionally just had War Machine in F tier. I think every tier list of this we've done together. Is he still F tier, or do we actually think he has a home in C?
In a Sandman meta, he's still left. How sad is that?
Yeah, you think he's still F, not C?
Oh yeah. No, I mean, why? Why?
Because he should be seeing play right now with Sandman.
Yeah.
So he is still F tier.
Mhm.
Then we've got U.S. Agent. Yeah, he doesn't really see too much play. He's kind of stuck to the Spectrum ongoing stuff or Jean Grey stuff. But he has just decent power when he works. Is he C tier?
He's C tier. The death of Noki really hit him.
Yeah. We have Sage. Sage still big power 3-cost card. Is she A tier? What do we think of Sage?
Bottom of A, but yeah, she's A. Like, she's losing some play because we're not seeing play, but she's still very good.
Then we've got Kyera, surprisingly, seeing a bit of play, finally, because Marvel Boys protect all his 1-cost cards, and Zoo is actually, like, strong. Where is Kyera right now? It's so weird that she's actually decent. Yeah.
She's got to be a B, right? Like,
in this meta,
she's not a high B. So I don't run her in my Z, because, like, in Conquest, I think you should, but on Ladder, my basic theory has always been, unless Surfer is the meta, like, you're not seeing a lot of Destroy.
And you don't see much.
You're not seeing, and if you are, like, and they snap on you, and you're playing against a Surfer or a Surfer or a
Destroy, you just
Destroy, and you just run for one, right? Like, thank you for letting me know that I shouldn't be here.
Then we have Mockingbird, who was a 5/9 that we had in S tier, now a 6/10. Is she still in S tier? I would say yes.
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
like, easily. What? Yeah, that card's incredible.
She costs 1 more, but she's still coming out for really cheap and big power.
Yep.
What about Kang? Still easy F tier. I'm gonna
K tier, Kang tier. He doesn't get his own tier.
Yeah, he really should. We really should do that for him. Then we have Cassandra Nova, the Deadpool's Diner reward card, now Series 5, purchasable for 6,000 tokens. Where is Cassandra Nova? She's been whooping on some Arishem, but where is she right now in the meta?
She's an S tier card.
S tier, you think?
Yeah, I think she's S tier. I think, like, she beats on one of the very best decks, and she's just good in basically every other matchup. She's great in decks like Bounce. She's great in decks like Darkhawk.
She's annoying to play against. I just, even if my opponent plays her, like, on turn 4 and she's only 6 power or whatever, I'm still a bit salty. I'm still like, come on. Like, why'd you do that to me? Then we have Marvel Boy, the newest card to Marvel Snap at the time we are making this list, but he's been pretty good so far. Where is Marvel Boy at right now? Is he A tier? Is he S tier?
I think he's an A tier card.
I agree. I think A tier works. He's pretty specific. You know, he's not the most flexible, but he pops off. He can be a game-winning card if you draw him a curve.
Yeah, I mean, even one turn after is fine usually.
Yeah. And then we have Cersei helping out Clog decks. Where is Cersei? Is she A tier?
Probably. Bottom of A tier, but A tier.
Then we have Nomura. Definitely a bit weaker to Clog stuff, but Nomura decks traditionally are just pretty strong.
Stats are still great.
Nomura A tier still? Is she B tier? What do you think?
I think she's probably down to B. But she's still very good.
She's still a good card. She's a powerhouse, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you there. All right, then we've got Fastos. Can't be higher than C. Is he C? Is he F? Or do you have Fastos?
No, I'm not humoring Fastos being.
I agree. I think he goes to F. He just doesn't see any play. And there's so many good 3-drops you just want to play right on turn 3. Especially when we have like Cassandra Nova. You want to play Cassandra Nova right on 3, right as early as possible.
You want to play Hope right on 3. You want to play him in Zoo, but now you want to play Marvel.
Right.
You often want to Loki on 3. Like, it's just, you want a Werewolf on 3.
Yeah, there's so many 3-drops you need to play right away. You're not going to fit Fastos in there.
Yep.
Very good points. And then we got Red Guardian. Actually, Red Guardian is my personal favorite of Nocturne, Copycat, and Red Guardian of that kind of flexible tech 3-cost. Is Red Guardian A or S tier, do you think? I could see him going either
I think
way.
it's A. I think it's A. I think he's an A tier.
2 cards left. We've got Sasquatch. I don't see him a ton, but he gets a little bit of value. Is Sasquatch B? He's hard for me to rank. Where do you have him?
I think B is probably right. Almost A. Has been A in the past. But I
Yeah.
think B is right.
And then finally, we are down to Nico Minoru. Alphabetically, how do we end on an N? I have no idea, but here we are with Nico. Nico's just a great one cost card. Where is she? Is she A tier?
She's A tier. Right. Like, I don't think she's quite strong enough to be S, but she's.
Yeah, I agree. And she's very flexible. Looks good. We got a lot of
Yeah.
new cards here in this S tier. I mean, if you took a bit of a break this year,
Yeah.
or you haven't been picking up the new cards and you're missing, White Widow and or Athena, Nocturne, Mockingbird, Cassandra Nova, Arishem, you're in for a bit of a rough time. They have been releasing some really strong cards, although they haven't been season pass cards, so they are attainable by free to play players. But it's still a lot of very new, very strong cards we're seeing.
Yeah, agreed. I think a good place to start looking if you're new and looking to not just play Arishem is Surfer, where you really
Uh huh.
can just sort of make do with what you have as Series 3 cards,
Yeah.
and you can just get Gwenpool and Shaw.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, Sarah, Surfer, they're both a Series 3. And then Sarah might have other uses too for your collection. I think
Mhm.
Surfer is a good spot. And obviously, the tier list will depend on your playstyle, which existing cards, existing shells you already have. If you just need that one final piece, or if you need a lot. So it's obviously going to depend. But I think this is a great list. I'm going to be showing an image on the screen here that has the Series 4 and Series 5 brackets around the cards here. And thank you, as always, Glazer, for helping me out. You are the meta tier list master.
All
I
right.
appreciate you. Is there anything you would like to say to the viewers?
If you're interested, check me out on SnapJudgments Pod on YouTube. 3 decks a day.
Yep, Glazer posts all the time. He posts all the best decks, and I will link his channel up above. Maybe this side, maybe that side. You'll go ahead and see it. So, thank you everybody for watching. I hope this is helpful. I will also keep a PNG image of this list in my Discord if you ever need to reference it real quick. And until then, stay positive. We'll see you next time.